welcome back. Hope you're all doing well. This is Chaitan here from DevilCube and welcome back to a brand new Cinema 4D tutorial. In this tutorial we're going to be learning to make an EPIC SPORTS IDENT here, and we're going to be using After Effects for post-production along with Cinema 4D. So this part is only going to be Cinema 4D, where I'm going to be showing you how to model the or create the logo, the important parts, and how to texture them, light the scene, and all that stuff. And then also we're going to be checking out how to render it out with a simple standard renderer in Cinema 4D, and then we're going to import that into After Effects in our second part of the tutorial, which is going to be a separate video. And yeah, so let's get started over here, guys. So as you can see, if I open up my project file, so as you can see here, a lot of things going on over here, pretty complex, but I'm going to break it down pretty simple for you guys and show you. So I'm just going to hide the main everything over here so that we can concentrate on each part one by one. So actually I'm going to go ahead and I don't know, like this, and yeah, okay. So the first one is we have our DevilCube text. So how do we do this text over here? So basically, if I go ahead and check everything, so as you can see here, the first thing I did was I took the spline, the text over here, I added a spline text, and you can do that by going over here and you can choose text, and then we got, so I used the font called Reckoner Bold, and I got my text. So and then I added a bulge deformer, which you can find over here. The bulge deformer is over here. And once you add the bulge deformer, you can create some deformation. So I ended up creating this. If you guys want the settings for the bulge deformer, here it is. So if I go ahead and increase the strength, then you can see crazy stuff happens. Anyways, so yeah, so that's how we created the text. And adding on to that, we added a simple extrude NURBS over here. Yeah, okay, so here is the text. Yeah, sorry about that. And then I added an extrude NURBS, which you can find it over here under extrude, and I just added a simple fillet cap of 3 steps and a radius of 2 on both the ends, and there we go, we have our text ready over here. Now to get the animation, which is the drop down animation, so what I did is I added a spline mask. So what a spline mask does, but before I show you guys, so here the spline mask option is over here. So what the spline mask does, it allows you to cut 2 splines. So that's pretty simple, guys. That's pretty simple. So how do you make it? So I have a rectangle over here. So if I show you guys the rectangle, as you can see, the rectangle is over here, and this is going to be you need 2 objects. So my text is going to be object 1 and my rectangle is going to be object 2. Now I'm going to go to the spline mask and I'm going to set the mode to A intersect B, which means A is going to intersect B. If I take the rectangle and move this up and down, you can see it gets cut. It gets cut, right? It's simple, guys. It gets cut. So that's how I just animated the rectangle over here. Oops, I animated the rectangle over here, and that got me this cool animation. Okay, so once this is done, we can go ahead into our second object, which is the backplate. So it's a simple backplate, guys. So this again was animated, so I just added this spline mask. So but you guys can go ahead and animate it whichever way you want. It's the same principle as the text. So it's a simple rectangular spline which I have over here. Let me just check this. Okay, so we have a simple spline that looks like this. Okay. And then I just added a simple extrude NURBS as well, and with the steps of 2 and a radius of 1, and yeah, that's it, guys. That's pretty much it. And then what I did is I duplicated it and I created a bigger version of that, so it's pretty big. So if you guys want to know how to create the big version exactly similar with the similar dimensions, what you can do is let me just show you guys over here. For what you can do is you can select this rectangle over here. You can go over here and then you can go select all the points. You can go right click. You can select all the points by pressing Ctrl A, and then you can right click and you can choose create outline. So once you do that, you can just click and drag and it creates an exact dimensional bigger version of your of whatever spline you're trying to go ahead and change. So that's how you do that. So I just did that and I added the same extrude NURBS, which got me let's see, this one. So I just added a blue color. So if I put both these together, you can see we have this, and I just placed one in between each other, and that's it, guys. So once we are done with that, we can go ahead to the next one, which is this. Here we have just an outline of the text over here. So basically it starts and ends over here. So how we did that is pretty much simple. So we just copy pasted the rectangular spline that's over here. So the rectangular spline. So this is the same spline. And then what I did was I went ahead and added a sweep NURBS. So if you go and choose sweep NURBS over here, and what a sweep NURB does, it actually allows you to give some dimension to the spline that you have. So I just went ahead and got a rectangle over here. So once you just put the rectangle over here, and it acts as the profile. So the first object is going to be the profile. So let me just show you over here. So this is the rectangle that I have. Okay, so this is the rectangle that we have. And then I added this rectangular spline. As you can see over here, it's very small. If I go ahead. So as you can see here, it's a width of 4 and a height of 6. It's a very small rectangle spline. And that rectangle is going to give the shape to this spline that we have over here. So as you can see here, there's a width of 4 and a height of 6 over here. So that is how we got the shape. So I just duplicated that and I replaced the other spline as well. So we have, so if I open up everything, yep, this is what we have. So we have one spline over here, and we have two splines, so that is going to be these two, and then we have these two back plates as well. So that's it, guys. So that's the back part. Now we can go ahead and get into the more detailed stuff. So let me just check this on. So now here, let's see. Okay, so we have here this part which says Cinema 4D and this nice thing. So Cinema 4D is simple basic text, so you can just copy paste the text. And so I created a mode text. I didn't use the the spline, so you can go to MoGraph and choose a mode text, so you can get that mode text. And then I added this top back plate. So it's just basically a rectangle with a extrude NURBS, with a simple extrusion over here. And then I use the taper deformer, which you can get over here. So you can go to taper deformer, and if I go to the taper deformer, these are the settings that I have over here. So if I increase the strength, you can see over here that we get this nice shape. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for the top part, guys. And next we have is the tutorial over here. It's just, again, the simple text. I just copy pasted the text, so it's simple. So that's the tutorial. And if I go ahead and show you guys how it looks with everything. So yeah, it looks like this, guys. It's looking really nice and cool. And next we can go ahead and put on the big disk. So it's just a simple disk. It's a simple disk. That's it, guys. With outer radius of 330 centimeters. And now a small disk. Again, it's a pretty small disk as well. So you guys can have a look at it. And then we have the outer ring. So this is the outer ring which I'm talking about. So this is the outer ring. So what I basically did is I went and got a circle spline, so with 330 centimeters radius, which is the same as a big disk, and a rectangle with height and width of 15. And now how I animated this is, if I go to the sweep NURBS, and I can go to the object and I can choose the start growth and the end growth, and as you can see here, as I increase it, it becomes a complete circle. So if I go back and if I set the start growth to 0, we have completely nothing, and then we can go ahead and just increase it and keyframe it, and that's it, guys. So that's how we created that. And next what we have, so that's the same principle you want to use for the back plate as well. So if I go to the back plate and I can choose the start growth, as you can see here, it's moving, and yep, so that's it, guys. And next we have the spikes. So the spikes is pretty complicated, which did take me some quite good amount of time, because we are using something called as the wrap object. So wrap deformer, and you can find that over here. That's the wrap deformer. And so what I actually did, so let me just show you guys. Have the clone and the null. Okay, so where is our object? Give me a second. Okay, I think I'm going to hide all this. It's bothering me. Whoops, what's going on? Okay, there it is. So basically what we have here is just a cube, a simple cube over here. And I haven't added any fillet to it, so it's a simple cube. And with size 3 on the X, Y on 40, and Z is going to be 5. And then we just have 4 copies of that. And then we have the main, bigger one. So that's 5, 65, and 5. So then what you want to do is you want to drop them into a cloner. And once you do that, why can't I see it? Okay, oh, it's over here. Okay, so once you do that, so the cloner settings is as follows. So we just want a count of 10, and this is the offset. So you can position it appropriately. So I've set the offset to 10, and that is because of this wrap deformer, which is being a big pain. Okay, so the count is set to 6. Goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because we only want the top half of the logo, the circle part to have this. I just set it to 6, and then what you want to do is use the wrap deformer. Now this wrap deformer is it's going to be a little complicated and going to take some time, but hopefully we'll be able to get it. So if I just check on this over here, we can see the wrap deformer over here. And if we go to the wrap deformer settings, so I have set the width. So the width is basically it's going to be the offset, kind of the basic offset. And we have the height over here. So the height is not going to be any problem. The radius is how close you want them or how deep you want them. So that will actually depend. You're going to play with this a lot. And the wrap is going to be cylindrical. The longitude start, and this is actually the offset with a proportional distance between each object. And then we have the longitude end, and then we have the scale. So the movement scale, we can probably use that for at proportional movement. And we have the tension, which we don't want, and the movement, that's fine. So the movement, you want to set it to 0. You don't want to change the movement. And that's it, guys. It's going to take a while to make that, so that's it. So if I go ahead and uncheck this, we have our final logo over here, beautiful and red. So now how to animate each of these objects. So I showed you how to animate the text over here. So double cube text over here is going to have the spline animation. The backplates over here, the red and the gray ones, they are going to be scaling from the center. So what you can do actually is you can go ahead to this backplate, you can go to the coordinates, and you can keyframe the X, Y, Z. So if I set this to 0, if I actually set the Z to 0, you can see it hides. Let me just do it for the backplate too. If I set the Z to 0, you see, oops. Yeah, so if I go ahead and change the letters, that happens. The X, yeah, so you want to keyframe the X. So yeah, that it's pretty simple, not too complicated. Then the disk, we just want to the disk, you want to keyframe the radius, so the outer radius and the inner radius. So you want to set that to 0, and then you want to set that out to 222. And the same happens to the bigger disk. And the outer ring has the sweep nerves animation, so which is the start growth and the end growth, as you can see over here. And the last part is the spikes, and I just added a simple back to front animation like that, so that's okay. So that is up for the modeling, guys. Now how do we light up the scene? So for lighting up the scene, I used 2 things. So I used the HDRI Studio Rig, and I also used a light system over here. So it's simple, basic, pretty decent light setup. So as you can see here, I have a Omni light over here with with literally nothing, not even shadows, and I just put it right here on the back over here, on the top. So we get a nice glow over here, and then we have 2 area lights. So we have one area light over here, and you guys can go ahead and copy the dimensions and the XYZ parameters over here. It's around 450, 400, and 500-ish on the X and the Y. and I just moved it on the opposite side, and we didn't even add any colors over here. So that's the simple basic light setup, and post which we added up our camera. Okay, not camera, the HDRI Studio Rig from Gayscale Gorilla. So if you guys don't have that, you can go ahead and choose a sky object over here. So you can go click on sky object over here. So once you click on the sky object, let's do that actually. Let's click on the sky object. That creates a sky. So as you can see, everything turns blue. And once that is over, you can go right click, go to Cinema 4D tags, and you want to choose a, where is that? The compositing tag that's over here, and you want to uncheck scene by camera. So now it disappears, but the reflection is still there. The properties of the sky affecting the logo still exist. Now, how do you want to create a texture for that? So you just want to go ahead and create a new material, and then you want to go click into this material, and you want to go uncheck color, uncheck reflectance, go to luminance, and you want to go to texture and add an HDRI texture. Now I'll show you the texture which I used, and so if I go to the texture, the HDRI, oops, okay, let's uncheck that. Man, where is the texture? How do I check now? Preview on. So this is basically the texture that I have over here. It's it's a hockey stadium over here. So that is the texture. So you just want to go you can go to Google and just type in anything, or actually if I'm going to be giving the project files, you can find that in the project files as well, guys. So don't worry about that. And if you guys want to use something else, if you don't, go ahead and you just want to take that, create a new material, go to the luminance channel, go to texture and load image, and you want to drop that in and put that on the sky object. Yep. So that's how you end up lighting the scene. Now, the most difficult part which I felt was animation of the camera. Now, oh, one more thing I forgot is this needle over here. So this needle over here. So it's just a simple plane. It's simple plane object. I actually went ahead and created a plane. Then I went ahead and made it editable by clicking this button over here which says make editable, and then I just went selected the points, and that's what I got. That's it, guys. Now, setting up the camera animation is a little complicated, but you know, we can do it. So here, if I go into my, so how I made it was basically I created a couple of cameras, right? So we have 4 cameras over here, and then I added a stage object. So we can go and click on stage. Oh, where's the stage? You can go here, click on stage. And what a stage object does, it allows you to integrate all the camera animations, the proper frame length. So how it actually happens, if I go to the stage object over here, you can see here on my camera, this camera is set. So what it's saying is this is going to be the main, the stage camera is going to be the main camera. And what that is going to do is it is going to use that camera and show me what this camera is looking at. Now when I want to change to this camera, what I have to do is I can just go simply drop in the second camera and put in this keyframe right over there. That's it, guys. So the stage is basically, it's basically the timeline where you set where you want your camera animation. Now I'm just going to be showing you the I have to use a frame rate of 30 frames per second. And so my first camera animation, which is going to be this, is go to the coordinates over here, and this is the camera animation I have. So a simple animation, so you guys can go ahead and copy these values if you guys really want it. And I'm just going to go slowly over here, and as you can see, the logo is building up. And on the 60th frame, which is going to be probably around 2 seconds, I'm going to stop it over here, and then I'm going to go to the stage. And then on the next frame, I'm going to go ahead and drop in this camera. So if you can go see here, the object, I have the camera 1 over here selected. Now, if we go to this camera, let's have a look at the parameters. So you can go ahead and copy this values. So it is going to be this one. And as you can see here, it's a simple, nice zoom animation where the Cinema 4D comes up. You know, the big circle comes up. And then on the 120th frame, I changed the stage here to camera 2. And if I look at camera 2, we have this nice down movement where the tutorial comes down, and we have this, you know, this blue color part that goes up, and then it takes for some time. And on frame 180, we have the final camera animation, where we have, let me show you the coordinates. Okay, so go to stage over here. We have camera 3, and camera 3, what we actually did was something different. We used a target object and is aligned to spline. So what a target object does, so if I go to Cinema 4D tags, right click Cinema 4D tags and choose a target tag, what it's actually going to do is it is going to target an object. So let me just go to a new file over here. So I have a cube over here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go create this camera, and I'm going to go to this camera, right click Cinema 4D tags and choose a target tag. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop in this cube. So what it's saying is I am going to face only the cube wherever I go. So if I look around, I'm going to be looking only at the cube, right? So this cube is my target object. Now if I zoom in, that's great, and if I move, I can rotate, but I cannot move left to right. But wherever I go, my camera, which is the cube, is going to be my center of focus over here. So that's how I created the target animation. So the target I used was this null, which is over here, and as you can see, I can't even move it over here because the camera is stuck to the null. So this null object over here, I just put it over here, so you guys can go ahead and put it wherever you want. So my camera is going to be targeting only this null, which is the center of the complete logo. Now the align to spline tag. So if I go back to here and if I choose, let me remove this, and I'm going to go to Cinema 4D tags and I'm going to choose align to spline, and then I'm going to go ahead and choose the circle spline over here, and I'm going to set this to XZ so it is flat, and I'm going to go to the align to spline. I'm going to choose the spline path to be this circle. So now we can't see anything, but if I go to the circle spline, I'm going to increase the radius. And now if I have a look over here, and if I go into, let's get out of the camera view. So as you can see here, this camera is sitting right on this circle over here. It is sitting right on the circle. And if I go to the align to spline tag and I move the position, you can see the camera moves. But the camera isn't looking at the cube. So to make sure we get it right, we can go to Cinema 4D tags, right click, and we can choose the target tag, and that is where you want to drop in the cube. So now when I go to the align to spline tag and I go move the position, you can see the camera is looking at the cube. Let me look into the camera, guys. So as you can see here, my cube is in the center and my camera is looking only at the cube. And if I move the circle up, you can see here, okay, let me move the circle up. You can see here, I'm going to get this nice view. So if I get away from the camera, you can see that my circle spline is up, my camera is stuck to it, and still my camera is looking at the cube because I have the target tag applied to the circle. Now if I move the cube over here, you can see my camera moves as well. So that's how we use the target tag, guys. That's how. So, and it's a basic simple animation over here, and so I just had to animate the circle radius over here and the position as well. You guys can figure it out. It's not too simple, and in the end it just goes and sweeps in the, so in the end my radius is set to 0. So yeah, so that is pretty much it for this Cinema 4D tutorial, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do have any kind of questions, feel free to email me on my ID, which is going to be linked in the description, or you can give a comment, or you can also follow me on Twitter. All the links are going to be in the description, and I'll see you guys in my next video, where I'm going to be I must say, composing everything in After Effects. So I'll see you guys there.